Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Always Bet on Yourself pod. Oh, I tell you what, it's been a morning. I've been bloody just a little grumble bum. Just dragging my heels all morning. You know when you just haven't slept very well or you're just not feeling right. I think my hormones are just all over the place as well. I was just not in the mood. And I'd struggle to get myself out of those funky moods sometimes. So I thought I'd treat myself to a Spanish omelette, and it was horrible. I did not like it at all. Way too much oil, and just didn't like it. I thought I'd really enjoy it, so I just picked out all the potato to eat. And yeah, so breakfast wasn't a go. But you know what did pull me out of my little funk? Putting on some music and having a dance around the house. I don't know many other people that put on their music and just dance around the house like they're a child. I still do that. Like from when I was a 12-year-old girl, I would be in my mirror and put on whatever I was listening to and just And I still do it to this day. I love it. I think everyone should have a good dance in the morning, in the afternoon, at work. Just constant. Music is the best. It's medicine. I actually just think it's the best thing ever. It is. Anyway, so that was my morning. And then I thought I'd jump on here and talk to you all about just some things like usual. I wanted to speak about a bit of spirituality and what that has been like in my life and what that's looked like. Because I think it's a really interesting topic. There's so many different avenues you can go down for different people, their own different belief systems and what fuels them and keeps them going. And I just think that's really interesting to hear because everyone's just so different and they've got different ideas of what just that looks like for them. And I wanted to just share what mine are, really, and what I've come to the conclusion of. I didn't really start to think about this sort of thing until Matthew passed away. I got into I think I just got to a place of not understanding life and the universe and what this life meant, and it was a very lonely road to go down. It was like I was the only person on the train and I was going 100 miles per hour. Just whoa, it was a lot to think about, honestly, and especially when you're grieving as well and going through so many other different emotions, that on top of everything was just oh gosh, so much to go through. But I think it was kind of a pivotal moment for me in my journey of life. I feel like out of it, I've just got so much more meaning and I've grounded myself a lot more in who I am and the person I'm going to be and want to be moving forward. And I think it's really, really beautiful to be able to have that in your life for anyone. I think taking the time for me just to be still, be in nature, do things I enjoy, taking care of myself, trying to do the best by others, imperfectly as always, but doing that and really realising that this life, this crazy old life, this time that we live in is just so go, go, go. It's non-stop and I don't have to be at that pace as well. I don't need to be running around like a blue-ass fly trying to make something of myself for not necessarily for me, if that makes sense. I'm not passionate about it. I'm not creating it. And not everyone has these options. We all have to go to work and make money, but didn't want that to be the main driver of my life, and I still don't. You know, I think if money comes to you from passion and creativity or whatever it is, and you're really pursuing something, that's fantastic. Like, and even if you're in a normal job, and that's great, but like sometimes it comes at a cost, and that might be the cost of, you know, your mental well-being because you're working so hard. You're missing time with your family. You don't get time to exercise or do things you enjoy. You know, I don't want to sacrifice any of that for the modern day living, honestly. I fully romanticize living on a farm, growing my own food, and my own, like having my own animals, and just being happy in that way of living. I think it would be so peaceful. The reason why I haven't done it now is because I know I'd get lonely. I'm a creature of, I need people. They fill me up. They fill my cup up. I do like to be at home, and I'm an introvert, but I also, when I go to work and I see people I love, they definitely just, it's just a massive boost, and I love it. I didn't even really realise that about myself until I got a little bit older, which is interesting. You just really don't know who you are until you start to delve deep inside of yourself and start asking yourself, why do I do that? Oh, it's interesting that I reacted to that way, and, you know, I enjoy doing that stuff. Finding out who you are really is can be a lot of work and a lot of maybe uncomfortableness, because maybe you don't like that little thing that you do, and you have to nip it in the bud and have a serious conversation with yourself and say, okay, well, maybe it's time to stop that. But yeah, I just love the natural world. I've definitely gotten a lot more appreciation out of it in these last 4 years. Just feeling like that's all I need. I don't need anything more. I feel completely, honestly, truly blessed for all that I have in my life. And I look at things like, I don't need anything else. Like, things are lovely, and when I was younger, I used to always want the new thing, but when you get a bit more wisdom, you just like, what does that bring you? It's an expense. I'm going to have to pay for that. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't need to have the most grandiose thing for people to see, because I don't care. Like, that's not my main driver in life, and it never will be. Just caring for people and being happy with what I have is enough. And it will always be enough for me. And I want to teach my children that. I want them to know that being so consumed by this world of consumerism is not real life. It's greedy. And that's not to say I don't like nice things. I buy myself stuff and I work in retail, but that doesn't mean that at my core I don't have these values and that I don't think about these things. Like, I don't want to be a completely materialistic person and just spend my time filling my life up with shit that doesn't make me feel better. I need to make myself feel better. And the things that truly make us happy aren't on the external, it's on the internal. I think most people know that, but doing it's another thing. I don't think there's anything worse than getting to a place of not having meaning in your life. You know, when you've just gone through dark times or hard times and you just can't find anything to grasp onto, any sort of hope. Oh, that place is so just debilitating to be in. It's awful, and I know so many people get there and are in that place in life, but you have to sort of grasp onto something. You have to hold on to something and find some sort of meaning in your life. I do think it's like when you get into those dark spots, you can't not concentrate on all of the bad. You think about everything that's happened in your life, and you can be self-critical of yourself and mean and undeserving and feeling like you don't deserve all the things that you could have in life. And I just hate that our minds go to those places, because I just don't think it's true. But we have to be the ones to pull ourselves out of it and have a conversation with ourselves and say, okay, well, let's just settle down for a moment. You are having a bad day. It's not a bad life. You might be having a bad week. It's not a bad life. You might be having a bad month. It's not a bad life. We have the power. We have the power to change our lives. And I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. We do. You know, I don't see how there could be another way. I've been thinking about faith a little bit. I'm not a religious person. I don't follow one doctrine. I do take excerpts of books that I've read or podcasts that I've listened to, and I like to implement those sorts of things that resonate with me in my life. I think faith can be a wonderful thing, and it doesn't have to be a faith in God, but I think a faith in yourself, a belief in yourself, like you are your own driver, that you are the vessel. You have to master your mind in some kind of way and believe in yourself. I think I got to a place last year, I had lost all hope. I was so unhappy and sad, and I lost all of my excitement and imagination. I got so low that I couldn't think of things that I wanted to do. I've always been such an imaginative person and always had so many ideas for whatever it is, for books, for TV shows, for just anything and everything. It's constant for me, and I love that about myself, and I've always had such an enthusiasm about it. You know, even if I don't follow through on something, I love that I have that, there's this, and sharing it with people. But I just lost all of that, and it's like I felt like a walking zombie, and I was like, shit, am I depressed? Like, I must be depressed. But I was only feeling that way because I was lacking in purpose, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with myself, on top of not making fantastic decisions, healthy decisions in my own life. You know, it's a domino effect, and it's not going to make you feel good about yourself. So if you can even just do one thing to brighten your day or make yourself feel better, do that, honestly. It doesn't have to be a top 5 list of all the things you have to transform in your life. It can be one little baby step. You know, everyone's minds work so differently. And some people might be able to take on more, and, I'm just going to go cold turkey, and I'm going to not do this, this, and this is my life looking forward. Fantastic for those people. Some people might just implement 1 or 2 things and slowly, gradually get there and fall off the wagon and then come back on. That's fine. But you have to choose you. I think choosing ourselves is just the most important thing in this life, And I said this before, I want to be a role model for my children. I want them to know that they can be resilient and bounce back. There is so much life lessons to be had. This is what life is. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And I think we're sort of protected from that at a young age. Everything is always happy and hunky-dory. You don't get to see that. You're not exposed to the realism of life, the reality of life. But it's there, and it happens to so many people. But it's not your fault, and the universe isn't out to get you personally. it is just life. It just happens. It is what it is. But you can, through those dark and hard times, you can find the light. I do believe there are lessons in every minute part of life, in everyday life. You learn so much about yourself. I think that's the beauty of it. Just being a person, living life. And I've just, I choose, losing Matthew was the hardest thing that ever happened to me. And I wish I could take that back. I wish that I could bring him back and live a life with him every single day. But I don't have that choice. And through my pain and my grief, I've had to transform the way I view my grief. I've had to integrate it into my life. I've had to transform things about myself. And now, fortunately, hopefully, live for him, because that's what he would want me to do. Now that I have the capacity to do that, and I'm grateful that I get to openly share my experiences and talk about my grief and life and everything else, because it's so encompassing and it's so lonely. I think it's so important to be able to have these conversations and get these thoughts out there. I wish there was more of it, to be honest. More normal people just talking about the daily ins and outs of life and all that it is. I think it would make us feel just a little bit more comforted, honestly. I'm not a psychologist. I don't have a degree. I'm just a person that has experienced a fucking shit ton of life. Honestly, losing Matthew is just one thing that's happened in my life, and that spread me so thin. But these life experiences can connect so many people, and I think that's just so beautiful. I wonder how many times I've said on this podcast. I'm really trying to limit it, really doing my hardest. I recorded yesterday and it was too much. It's quite hard not to I will get better, I promise. I did have a book that I wanted to share with you all. A lot of you might have read it already, but this book, Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Philosopher and Roman Emperor, written under 2,000 years ago, just under. And it's just a remarkable book. A man that's trying to figure out his own world and the kind of man that he wants to be. His own journalistic writing. I really think everybody should read this book. I think it's just fantastic. I did say last week that the creative act was the Bible. I think this is the Bible. I do. I think I adore it. I adore it. He poses so many questions to himself, deep questions, and it's remarkable to know that a man that long ago had these kind of thoughts and questions about life, and it resonates so deeply now. I think it's truly amazing. Please let me know if you've read the book or if you're going to read the book. I would love to hear some of your thoughts on it, honestly. If I was to give any kind of advice, I would say go and buy some books on spirituality or have a look online at some podcasts. Find something that resonates with you to deepen your meaning in life. Go for a walk in nature, sit down, write some thoughts down, sit down and journal. Some big questions or some little questions. Think about who you want to be and what you want to contribute in this life. Even if it's only minor. Not every single person has to do something huge, but maybe that's just for your children or for your parents, or in some minor way being conscious of how we turn up to work, just showing up as a good person, being really kind to yourself, because life can be difficult and hard. Find like-minded people that are going to understand you, and don't listen to advice from people that talk nonsense. They don't know what they're talking about. Poo-poo them off. Poo-poo them off. We don't need to listen to that. I really hope people in this life find peace. I do. Because I just see such an insane amount of uncertainty and mental turmoil around. And makes me so sad that is reality for some people. I think the more that we can connect and talk about these things, it's just the better for everyone, honestly. So, on that note, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Like and subscribe if you wish. I'll see you next week. Mwah.